Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever stared at an algebra problem and felt like it was written in some sort of ancient, undecipherable language, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're going to completely decode the specific math dialect known as non-proportional relationships, and we're going to learn how to fluidly translate these problems across totally different formats. To set the stage, the source material anchors today's lesson with this idea: let the wise hear and increase in learning, and the one who understands obtain guidance. And honestly, that beautifully frames our entire approach today. We aren't just going to robotically memorize one single formula. Instead, we're going to gain real understanding by learning how to look at the exact same mathematical truth from three entirely different perspectives. Now, you might be wondering, why go through all that effort? Why does looking at a problem from multiple angles actually make you wise? Well, when you can view a single math problem as a table, a graph, or an equation interchangeably, you gain this incredible power to understand it on a much deeper level. You start predicting outcomes, you solve things way faster, and honestly, you completely avoid those silly, simple mistakes because you can instantly cross-check your own work. It's a real game changer. Okay, let's get into it. Section 1, Spotting Non-Proportional Relationships. Here is the absolute golden rule, the core defining feature. A non-proportional relationship always has a starting value that isn't zero. Think about a standard XY axis. The origin is that dead center point where both x and y are exactly zero. Proportional relationships, they shoot right through that center. But non-proportional relationships start somewhere else entirely on the y-axis. That starting value, which we usually call b in math, is the absolute dead giveaway. And what's really cool is how this exact same rule looks slightly different depending on which mathematical language you're actually reading. If you're looking at a table, just check the y value when x is 0. I guarantee it won't be 0. If you're looking at a graph, you'll see the line completely misses that center origin point. And if you're reading an equation, you're always going to see a number tacked onto the very end, added or subtracted. That's your non-zero starting value. It's three formats, but one unbreakable rule. Moving on to Section 2, Translating Reality, Laundry Day. Imagine you're dragging a giant, heavy bag of clothes to a wash and fold service. The service charges a $5 base fee just to accept your order, and that's before they even weigh your laundry, which costs $2 per pound. Think about it. If you brought in literally 0 pounds of laundry, you would still theoretically owe that $5 base fee. That fact right there tells us for sure we are dealing with a non-proportional relationship. So when we map this out, the pattern becomes crystal clear. 1 pound costs $7. 2 pounds costs $9. 3 pounds cost $11. Because of that $5 base fee, the total cost, the y values, they just don't start at 0. The price jumps by $2 every single time, but it started off at 5. And boom, we can perfectly crack the code to get our mathematical equation. Y represents our total cost. 2x represents the $2 multiplied by however many pounds of laundry we bring in. And the plus 5, that is our starting value. We just flawlessly translated a real-world scenario directly into algebraic symbols. All right, Section 3, Translating Reality, Bike Rentals. Let's play math detective for a second. If I tell you there's a graph that crosses the vertical y-axis at 10, and it goes up 3 units for every 1 unit it moves to the right, well, you already have absolutely all the clues you need. You've got a starting point, and you've got a rate of change. Now, the smoking gun here is that giant number 10. That y-intercept, the exact spot where the line hits the vertical axis, is undeniable proof that this relationship is non-proportional. It didn't start at 0. Basically, the bike shop charged a $10 flat fee the second you walked through the front door. We take that $3 hourly rate as our slope and our $10 starting fee as our y-intercept, and there we have it. Y equals 3x plus 10. You can now use this tiny little string of numbers and letters to figure out the cost of renting a bike for an hour, a day, or even a whole week. You are completely in control of the math. Next up, Section 4, Translating Reality, the raw equation. For this one, we're going to work entirely backwards from scratch. Here's our raw equation, y equals 4x plus 6. Right off the bat, that plus 6 sitting at the end should be setting off major alarm bells in your head. That is your non-zero starting value. Before x even gets out of bed in the morning, y is already sitting at 6. So, yep, definitely non-proportional. To gain total control over this equation and actually build a table from it, we just systematically test our inputs. We replace x with numbers to see exactly what happens. Step 1. plug in 0. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 6 is 6. Step 2, plug in 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 6 is 10. Step 3, plug in 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 6 is 14. And our translation is perfectly complete. In this new layout, that constant rate of 4 is super easy to spot. The y values literally just jump from 6 to 10 to 14. And our starting value of 6, it's captured perfectly right there in the very first row, where x equals 0. Which brings us to Section 5, your homework challenge. Now it's your turn to apply this. Listen to this scenario. A babysitting service charges $10 per hour, plus a $15 booking fee. Ask yourself, what is the starting value here? What is the rate that repeats every single hour? And how do those two pieces combine into a y equals mx plus b format to tell the whole story? And here are the rest of your challenges, designed to truly test your ability to seamlessly jump between tables, graphs, and equations. For example, if a line passes through the coordinates 0, 8, is it passing through the origin? Can you figure out the constant rate and starting value by just looking at 3 rows of data? Take your time, apply the rules we just went over, and you are going to absolutely crush these. Finally, Section 6, Morality, Education, and Peace. Before we wrap up this explainer, the source material asks us to take a step back and look at the ultimate reason why we even learn to solve problems like this in the first place. The curriculum we're looking at today is grounded in the heroesmartacademy Godly Learner Series philosophy. They make the case that having raw intelligence is actually dangerous if we lack a moral compass to guide it. According to this framework, education without morality ultimately leads to choices that cause harm, whereas education intertwined with morality allows you to apply your wisdom for a genuinely better life. The curriculum actually connects this educational approach to a profound promise found in the text, suggesting that when you intertwine your learning with biblical morality and keep your mind spiritually focused, you find a deep, lasting peace of mind. So in their view, it's not just about getting the right answers on an algebra test. It's about achieving real clarity and tranquility in how you navigate the world. So, as you master algebra, decode complex graphs, and build a truly brilliant mind, I want to leave you with this final thought straight from today's source material. What is the point of all this mental power if it isn't guided by a strong moral compass? How will you use the wisdom you gained today to make choices that bring peace to your life rather than pain?